Do you guys watch the American late night comedians? You know, the ones that are dressed in suits, and despite the fact that they're different people, they have the exact same opinions on every single major political issues. It's like they're stormtroopers. They look alike, and they always miss. I don't blame you if you don't watch them, because they're definitely not funny. They always talk about politics more than a politician. We live in a world where the comedians are more political and the politicians are more funny. But recently, they have the same talking point. I had a video compilation with them. Unfortunately, I lost it, so take my word for it. But I feel like every single late night comedian has to say this. It's like a mantra. It's like a prayer. Basically, they will say, the economy is doing great, number goes up, everything is perfect, but will the voter realize that? Like, will the voter manage to peer through the manipulation that is on social media, through the MAGA crowd? Will they manage to peer through that and understand just how amazing Biden is? Like, you have never been more rich in your entire life than now. If you are a homeless person, Bidenomics is so great. It boosted your bank account to the fucking space. To the moon! To the moon! That's how wealthy you are. But will you know that? Will you know that, or will you allow yourself to be misinformed with Elon Musk's Twitter? So, there are certain lies that the government can say, which you can't really debunk yourself. Like, for example, if the government says that unemployment is low, but you can't find a job, your friends can't find a job, your family is unemployed, you can say that, well, maybe I live in a city where things are different, or maybe everyone else has a job, or maybe, you know, in other industries things are different. Like, it's difficult to call out their bullshit. But when they're flat out lying to you that the groceries aren't becoming more expensive, when you know the price of groceries, like you know it firsthand, you go to the same supermarket that everyone else goes, they can't lie with that, and yet they still try. So, I always dismiss these statistics. I don't even read them. It's like, I don't care. Because common sense trumps any statistic. If you're basically telling me that outside is raining and when I go outside it's sunny, I don't care if you have the meteorological consensus. Every single meteorological in the country should get fucking fired at that point. Like, no, you're wrong. Okay, like, I can experience reality myself even without your charts. It's like that 1 in 5 women getting raped on campus statistic. Like, I don't even have to see how you got to that point to know that it is blatantly false. If that was the case, no one would send their daughter to university. It's like, right? So, like, why is it that you have people like David Pakman and others who completely detach themselves from reality? Like you show them a pie chart, you show them a graph, and all of a sudden, reality changes for them. It's the magic of the fucking chart. I don't even know how to explain it, but, like, normal people don't function this way. Like, average people, average citizens do not function this way. So, like, what they're doing with their data and their studies, they're not using it to find out the truth. They're using it to try and persuade people, right? So it's like the idea that science is now God, okay? And the scientist is not a person that can be corrupt, is not a person that can be bought, is not a person that can be wrong. The scientist is the fucking truth. He is the gospel, okay? It's almost like the Pope decrees. Like you cannot argue with the Pope. He is God's vicar on earth. And now the scientist is the economist vicar on earth, right? So, like, the moment you show a chart, everyone should just shut the fuck up. And, like, I'm sorry, it doesn't work that way. I remember, like, another study which showed that teenage boys are uninterested into breasts, right? Like, they find fan service in video games and anime boring. And I'm like, fire that scientist. Like, there is no fucking way. Like, what he is describing is against human nature. Either that or he, like, cherry-picked people from Scat Francisco from a very progressive school after getting indoctrinated for 45 hours. You know, like maybe that is the case on how he got the chart. I don't fucking know. Like something went wrong. Like, you cannot show me things that contradict human nature, and just because they're in a chart, I will believe them. So, someone else did what I was too lazy to do, which is to look at the charts and see how they come up to these bullshit conclusions. And here you have on Twitter this individual called Dogs Don't Have Thumbs. And he's basically pointing out how they're saying, amazing how much mail and comments I get insisting that grocery prices have doubled down and are still soaring. They haven't and they aren't, right? So like look at this level of human stupidity. Like if you have many individuals telling you that you're drunk, maybe you should go home and sleep. Don't come up with the chart and show, no, actually, my alcohol level, no one cares, okay? You're sluttering, you're wobbling, everyone else points to that. You know, maybe the test was wrong. Maybe it was something with the test, because reality definitely shows that there is a problem, right? So, like, when people are calling you and they're saying that the grocery bill has gone up, you should believe them. Most of these people don't know because they're too fucking rich. If you're that rich and you can just go to the supermarket and you can put whatever you want into the basket without even looking or checking the label and the price, you're not going to notice that things are bad, okay? So yeah, like most of these streamers, most of these content creators, maybe they literally do not know that things have gotten expensive because they have so much cash. But for the rest of us, which have to do math before going shopping, and we're always looking for where the fire exit is in case we go to the cashier and we do not have enough money to pay, so we want to run away from the shame, right? Like for those of us, we notice that things have gone up. So, apparently, the graph shows that food at home spending is up 1.2 and not twice as much, right? So, like, he concludes that food prices are not twice as much. And as you can see, the source is the U.S. Bureau of Labor and Statistics. Whenever you see the government show something, right, you should judge it as if the private sector is showing you something. And when the private sector is showing you something, you should always question, who pays for that? Right? Like a pharmaceutical company is not going to pay for a study that shows their medicine is shit. Why would they do that? Right? So like, if a pharmaceutical company is showing that their medicine is awesome, you should take it with a grain of salt. Maybe it is awesome, but like they're the ones that paid for the study. Right? In the case of the government, when they are showing you something, the idea is that the taxpayer is paying for it. False. It is not the taxpayer that's paying for it. It is the government, which has stolen the money from the taxpayer, now owns the money, and is paying for it, right? So when the government is paying for something, it's not the government, it's the party in charge, right? So in this case, it's the Democrats who want to win a re-election, so they're the ones that are paying for these studies. It's not necessarily like blackmail. It's not like they're going to the Economist and they're saying, hey, print me this study, right? No, that's not how it works. Usually, they have many economists to choose from, and the ones that they decide to work with, the ones that they decide to hire, are the ones that have the data which corresponds to what the Democrats want. Like, for instance, the best economy in the world is leave the free market alone. Like that is the Milton Friedman way of thought. That is like the gospel. Leave the free market the fuck alone and you will have prosperity. It's not rocket science. Like fucking Javier Milei in Argentina has balanced the books in over 20 years. How? He left the market the fuck alone, right? So like but the thing is, when you're a politician, you don't like that. You know, you want to print money for your voters. You want to say, hey, vote for me and I'll abolish school of debt. Vote for me and I'll give you free shit. You got to print money. You got to get into the economy. You got to start manipulating things, right? So you're not going to hire the economist that tells you to leave it alone. No, you're going to hire the Keynesians that tells you, yeah, you can tinker with the economy. You can use like all of these metrics and tools and, you know, like print more money now and stop printing now. Like make sure inflation is between such and such. You're going to hire that guy. It's the same with everything. With charts, for example. You're not going to hire the economist that tells you that Bidenomics is shit. Why would you do that? You're going to hire the economist that says, no, Bidenomics is amazing. Right? So this is how they get to the bullshit charts. So apparently the graph comes from here. And the source is the U.S. Bureau of Labor and Statistics. But again, like, you're an economist that's tasked with saying that Bidenomics is amazing. So how do you get a statistic which shows that actually food prices are not up? Well, you change the way you do the study, right? Like normally, if you actually want to see if food prices are up or not, you're going to take like the same grocery shopping cart, which has like bread and meat and all of the stuff, but it has to be the same, right? And you measure it, how much it costed in 2018 and how much it costs today. But that's not what the study does. The study asks people, right? Like it goes into the supermarket and asks people at the end of the shopping spree, like, how much did you spend? And basically, they're comparing that, like how much people spent in 2020 to how much they're spending now. You can see where the problem is. If things are expensive, people buy less. People buy cheaper stuff, right? So while people may indeed be spending only 1.2 times more now than they used to spend 2 years ago, they're doing that because they're buying less stuff. So the prices are still up. It's just that by people buying less stuff, they're paying the same amount because, yeah, like people have a fixed budget for groceries. Some people may skip on breakfast. Some people may skip on sweets and snacks and other things. Some people might downgrade their food. Like they're not buying the expensive cow meat. They're buying cheaper stuff. Maybe they're buying chicken or whatever. But this is why, right, the graph is showing that, oh, food prices are not up by 12. They are. It's just that people do not buy as much. And as you can see, they do not measure the constant basket of goods, which is how every country does it, right? Like you have the constant basket of goods, which is usually what's considered to be the average thing that people buy, right? So in my country, it would be like a loaf of bread. It would be a pack of meat. It would be, like all these things. But they're constant. They're supposed to stay the same. So this is why they're disingenuous. And this is why every time someone tries to persuade me with graphs and statistics, I'm incredibly skeptical, especially if the graphs and statistics deny common sense. And I encourage people to do so as well. Let me know what you guys think, though. And as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.